Hey everybody, Blessed Driver here, Kaylana. Um, I was just sitting here thinking about, corporate America and working in corporate America, or just having a regular job, and then also doing this like ride share, working the app-based gigs, grocery delivery, or just a delivery job, period. And um, I don't know, like I've been asked that before, like would I ever go back to working in corporate America, whatever you should call it. But my goal, honestly, like my plans are not to do that. Um, and I mean, I have lots of reasons why, but as for me right now, what I'm doing right now works best for me. And also, it works well within my schedule, excuse me, especially when I have to, do stuff with my son, pick him up from school, if he has practice, just different things like that. So my intent is not to really go back to working for anybody. I mean, even though technically, I still kind of am, even being an independent contractor. My thing is, even being an independent contractor, with Uber, Instacart, Lyft, um, Grubhub, any of these companies, I still look at as we're still working for somebody because we don't own it, and we're still under somebody else's rules, somebody else's authority. Even though we can set our own schedule, we can, kind of make, you know, um, ends meet as far as like how much money we can potentially make. Basically, we're able to kind of set our own rules in a way and how we engage with people. But I just think that for me, it works better like this, working my own schedule when I want, and I always keep my doors open to different types of app based gigs, and not just small ones, but ones that I know it's going to actually make me some money, because there's a certain amount that I have to make per month and per week and stuff like that. So I kind of know my limit, and I think that it's for some people, I've met some people who actually was doing Uber full time, and they were making like $1,400 a week or so, and now they went back to get a job and it works for them. And I'm not saying that I never will, but as of right now, because I prayed about it before I did it, and the door opened for me. But I think that sometimes the downside to working these types of jobs, and for instance doing the ride share or even the grocery delivery or even delivery itself, that it does get slow. Excuse me. And then the days that it does get slow, it's kind of like, okay, what now? Like what do you do? And versus working a regular job, 9 to 5 or whatever, and you have a steady paycheck coming in. And that's why I kind of believe in having multiple streams of income. That is just me, and that is something I'm actually working on behind the scenes. And so I'll actually share that with you guys. It'll either be on this channel or another channel link that I'll share with you guys later. But I am comfortable doing this. And I used to work at a assisted living facility. I used to do that, and it was just not for me. As much as I love the elderly, and I also used to work in education. I worked with children with autism. I've done that, but that season was up for me, and I enjoyed it while that door was open. But I like flexibility, like especially if I have to go do something at a moment's notice, or if there's an emergency. I don't want to get penalized for that. I don't want to get points on my. And even though like with Instacart they're great, but still, like if you don't get back on shift, say like if you have an emergency, you have to go to the hospital for whatever reason, or maybe you're sick or something happens to your car and you can't get back on shift for the rest of the day. Well, now you have a reliability, and you can only get so many in a 30 minute, I'm sorry, not a 30 minute, but in a 30-day time frame. And so like stuff like that, and I just kind of feel like restricted, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing for now. But there are some things that I'm working on behind the scenes. And so while I'm planning, we also have to think about planning for the future. Do you have health insurance while you're an independent contractor? Do your children have health insurance? Are you putting some money aside for, your retirement and 401k and for your children's education? There's so many factors that go into it, and I think that's part of a benefit of having a 9 to 5, because you can actually put that money aside. Your employer may pay for your health insurance. There's so many different things, but I just believe in looking at the bigger picture of stuff, and working on your goals, and thinking outside the box, and not just looking at it. Oh, I'm just going to be driving a car for the rest of my life, or I'm going to be, be delivering pizzas or McDonald's wherever. No, I mean, there's so many things that we could be doing, especially when it is slow. Excuse me, but this is not something that I plan on doing forever, of course. And I hope that you guys aren't either. But because this is going to be an ever-changing industry, and I'm sure there'll be other companies that are going to pop up. Like Uber is going to be around for a while. Lyft, rideshare is going to be around for a minute. And I don't foresee them going anywhere anytime soon because people actually prefer ride sharing over taxis nowadays, and it is a service that people need. And of course, Instacart and Shipped, and there's a few other ones that do grocery delivery, and maybe they may be local. I mean, that's a service that people need. I mean, people need their groceries delivered, so I don't foresee them going anywhere for a while. Companies may change. You may have buyouts, partnerships, things like that. So that may change. But I believe that anywhere there's a need, you better bet that there's a company out there or an individual that's sitting back thinking of a way to monetize on how to capitalize off of a need. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a service. And so for right now, I just kind of enjoy what I'm doing. But on days like this, like today, it's really slow. And I just make sure that I'm doing something. I'm not just sitting around watching Netflix all day. I'm actually doing something. And, and if I have to rest, I'll take a nap or I'll do whatever. But I'm trying not to stress out about it because you have days like that. Every state, excuse me, every state and every city is not the same. Sometimes it might be busy in one area and then it might be slow in another area. It varies. And so, with that being said, I'm not going to ramble on here, but going back to the 95, no time soon. But if a door opens where it's very lucrative and I can make the same amount of money with Instacart or whatever, then definitely I'll take it. And it has some flexibility in there, absolutely. But I know I was born to be an entrepreneur, and I want to make sure that I'm working towards those goals. And also, I want to share with you. I feel like sharing this with somebody out there. Don't feel bad if you have a college education, because I have a college education too. But don't feel bad if you have a college education, whether you have a AA, a bachelor's, maybe a master's, doctorate, whatever type of degree you have, or even just some college. Don't feel bad if you're doing this for a living right now. I know there's some single parents out there, and maybe you're not even single. Maybe you're just, hardworking guy or a woman. You're just doing this for now. You're doing the ride share, you're doing Uber, you're doing Lyft, doing Instacart, and this is your full-time gig, and you're thinking, how in the world did I get here? Or, this is really not what I want. And maybe you're comfortable with what you're doing. It's like, whatever. But just don't feel bad about that. Just be grateful that you are doing something. And if whatever it is that you're not satisfied with in your life as far as your career, there's always ways that you can work around that and change that. And that will be in another vlog. So just be encouraged, y'all. I'm going to head on out. Peace.